While Christians obsess over who the Antichrist might be, they're missing who's building his infrastructure. Jared Kushner left the White House in 2021. Most people think his influence ended. They're wrong. He started an investment firm that's now managing billions in Middle Eastern development projects that connect Israel to former enemy nations through economics, technology, and shared resources. He's not making peace deals anymore. He's making them permanent, turning political agreements into economic dependence. And Daniel 9:27 predicted exactly this: a covenant confirmed through a prince, not a president, not a king, a prince with the trust of many nations. Watch how precise this parallel gets. I'm not claiming Kushner is the Antichrist. That's not the argument. The argument is he's constructing the exact framework Daniel described 2,500 years ago, and it's operational right now, not theoretical, not someday, right now. The Abraham Accords weren't the endgame, they were the foundation. What's being built on that foundation matches biblical prophecy with precision that should alarm every believer. We're examining 4 specific patterns, 4 ways his current business activities mirror Daniel's ancient prediction. Then I'll show you a 5th element involving geography and timing that almost nobody reported. By the end, you'll understand why this isn't speculation. You'll see why the infrastructure is already complete, and you'll realize why the church is staring at their phones debating politics while prophetic architecture gets built in plain sight. Because what Daniel said would come before the end requires this exact setup to exist first. Daniel 9:27 states clearly, "He shall confirm a covenant with many for 1 week." The word is confirm, not negotiate, not invent. Confirm what already exists.
Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more awe-inspiring stories of faith, survival, and miracles.
The Abraham Accords normalized relations between Israel and 4 Arab nations: UAE, Bahrain, Morocco, Sudan. That's the political layer. But Kushner didn't walk away when Trump left office. His investment firm, Affinity Partners, now operates across every single Abraham Accords nation. He's transforming political handshakes into economic chains, trade corridors, technology exchanges, infrastructure investments that bind these economies together. You can tear up a treaty with a signature. You can't tear up billions in trade without devastating everyone involved. Economic integration creates permanence. He's welding the covenant into place through commerce. Building the framework a future leader will simply guarantee and extend. The political structure exists. He's making it unbreakable through money. But the positioning is even more specific than that. Daniel doesn't describe a king. He describes a prince, someone with power but operating outside official authority, someone connected to leadership but not constrained by it. Kushner matches this description perfectly. Former president's son-in-law, access to heads of state that no typical businessman possesses. He negotiates with prime ministers and crown princes, yet he holds no government position. A prince without a throne. And the detail that matters most, he's Jewish. A Jewish prince building economic bridges between Israel and Arab nations, creating infrastructure for a covenant Daniel specifically said would involve Israel. The ethnic background isn't incidental, it's prophetically significant. A Jewish intermediary with trust on both sides. Arab leaders invest billions through him. Israeli officials welcome his projects. That positioning is historically unprecedented. And his influence didn't decrease after leaving government. It expanded. He operates with more freedom now. No congressional oversight, no press briefings, no political limitations. The perfect position for building prophetic infrastructure. Track the money. 2021, Kushner launches Affinity Partners. Within 12 months, Saudi Arabia invests $2 billion. The UAE adds substantial funding. He's now directing projects across Israel, Saudi Arabia, UAE, and the entire Abraham Accords network. These aren't minor deals. Infrastructure, technology, development requiring decades to complete. Projects that weave these economies into a single fabric. Daniel mentions a covenant lasting 1 week. Prophetically, that's 7 years. But 7-year agreements collapse without infrastructure that makes breaking them catastrophic. Kushner is engineering that cost into the system. Economic dependence that guarantees compliance. He's creating the glue before the agreement even gets formalized. Trade between these nations has exploded. Billions in commerce that didn't exist 5 years ago. Jobs, industries, supply chains. Breaking this framework now would trigger economic disaster for everyone involved. That's not accident. That's architecture. And the technology layer makes it even more binding. Some will say this is just normal business. Kushner is a developer. He's pursuing profit. And you're absolutely right. On the surface, this looks completely ordinary. That's precisely the point. Biblical prophecy doesn't unfold through cartoonish villainy. It unfolds through ordinary actions serving extraordinary purposes. King Cyrus didn't know he was fulfilling Isaiah's prophecy when he freed Jewish captives. He thought he was executing smart imperial policy. Good intentions don't prevent prophetic fulfillment. They often enable it. So yes, Kushner is likely just chasing business opportunities that make financial sense, creating jobs, building economies, promoting regional stability. But those legitimate activities are creating the exact infrastructure Daniel predicted would exist before the end. Both realities coexist, and that's what makes this invisible to most people. The prophetic fulfillment wears the mask of progress. The trap disguises itself as peace. The danger markets itself as solution. Here's the element nobody discusses. Kushner's investments aren't just real estate or energy. They're technology, surveillance infrastructure, smart city systems, digital payment platforms, technology that connects economies while enabling control. Revelation 13 describes a system where commerce requires the mark. No one buys or sells without it. That demands technological infrastructure, digital systems integrated across nations, the capacity to monitor and manage transactions remotely. Kushner's firms are investing in precisely these technologies throughout the Middle East, building the network, establishing the systems, creating the infrastructure, not through evil conspiracy, through cutting-edge investment that happens to construct what Revelation described. Smart cities need digital identity verification, centralized payment systems, surveillance for security, all reasonable, all justified, all necessary for modern urban development, and all perfectly designed for the control mechanisms prophecy predicted. The pieces aren't coming together, they're already assembled. And there's one geographic detail that connects everything. Last 18 months, Kushner's firm announced partnerships with Israeli technology companies, Saudi infrastructure projects, UAE smart city development. He's building literal bridges, economic connections between nations who were enemies a decade ago. And here's the number that matters: 7 nations. Abraham Accords currently link Israel with 4 Arab nations. Kushner's investment network extends to Saudi Arabia and others in active negotiation. 7 nations economically bound through one man's business empire. Daniel said, confirm a covenant with many. In Hebrew, many means multiple nations. 7 qualifies. This isn't symbolic interpretation. This is documented business activity mirroring biblical text with precision that should alarm every believer. The framework isn't theoretical. It's operational. His firms maintain offices in 3 countries, partnership agreements with governments across the region, billions in active construction, thousands employed building this infrastructure. It's concrete, steel, fiber optic cable. It's real. But there's one more layer most people completely overlook, a layer involving geography that changes the entire picture.
This isn't decades away. The infrastructure functions right now. Trade between Abraham Accords nations increased 74% in 2 years. Technology sharing agreements are signed and active. Investment projects are breaking ground monthly. The framework exists. It only needs someone to formalize it, guarantee it, confirm it for a specified period, exactly what Daniel predicted. And while Christians argue about election prophecies and political theater, actual prophetic infrastructure gets constructed by someone most forgot the moment Trump left office. Kushner operates quietly now. No media appearances, no political drama, just business deals reshaping the Middle East's economic future. The covenant framework approaches completion. And here's what should concern you. The pace is accelerating. More deals closed last year than the previous 3 combined. More nations expressing interest, more economic integration, more technological connection. The infrastructure is reaching critical mass, the point where it becomes self-sustaining, where dismantling it becomes unthinkable. And what I haven't told you yet suggests the timeline is shorter than anyone imagines. Because there's one investment I haven't mentioned. An announcement from 4 months ago that received almost zero coverage. A project in Jerusalem, not Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, the specific city Daniel references in his prophecy. A development requiring cooperation between Israeli government and international investors. The kind of project that symbolically represents what a future covenant would formalize. Access, control, shared interests in the contested city. Combine that Jerusalem project with his Saudi partnerships, his UAE investments, and his maintained relationship with Israeli leadership, you get a triangle: Saudi Arabia, UAE, Israel, with Jerusalem at the center. And that triangle matches the exact geographic pattern of covenant prophecies throughout Scripture. But here's what makes this project different from all the others. It involves the commercial zone surrounding the Temple Mount area. Not directly on the mount, but in the economic infrastructure around it. The symbolic significance is staggering. Economic development that normalizes international involvement in Jerusalem's most contested geography. I'll show you the specific location, the project details, and why the timing of its announcement aligns with a prophetic calendar that suggests something is happening sooner than any prophecy teacher is saying publicly. Because what's being built there isn't just infrastructure, it's the final piece.